So that's what we're going to talk about. People marginally failed. I want to tell you how you can change that. Okay. And any questions that you have, I would encourage you to put them in the chat box so I can be absolutely tailored to your needs. So let's chat. Let's chat. First of all, if you know nothing about me, you've never heard of me, or what kind of qualities or qualifications do I have to talk to you? I've been doing it a long time, probably nearly 30 years. Just because you've been doing it a long time doesn't mean you're any good, but I have survived in the kind of world of professional training that long. Normally it's, if you're no good, you would be removed. I've during that time had various awards for, independently voted for, Tutor of the Year and runner-up for other similar awards. The ACCA have employed me as their ACCA specialist. Now, a lot of people say they're an ACCA specialist, but I would ask you to put my name into the ACCA website, put it into the ACCA YouTube channel, put it into the ACCA Student Accountant, and you'll see lots and lots of videos, webinars, articles that I've written, and all these other people who are experts. I don't think you'll find their name anywhere. I also run courses that the ACCA approve as platinum, which is the highest possible accolade ACCA give to anyone running courses. So is it worth staying on? Well, hopefully that gives you some confidence in my ability to talk to you. And one thing that has there's a good thing with things online, because we can now reach people all around the world. But the bad thing about things online, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there who give a lot of rubbish information on Facebook, on YouTube about ACCA exams. And there's no real way of working out whether what they're saying is useful or not, because they seem to be using ACCA past papers. But if you were preparing for your exams, and it's great that you put time and effort in, but sadly, if you were looking at a lot of these people on Facebook and YouTube, you might have been wasting your time, and that's kind of tragic. These sites are normally free. They normally have lots of adverts around them. They're not ACCA approved. Check yourself on the ACCA website. Do they have platinum status? No, they don't. And some people just like the sound of their own voice. So just be very careful on these keyboard experts online. There's a lot of fake news out there, is what I would say. And basically, check them out. If they're on the ACCA website, or they'll have some credibility. If they're not, I wouldn't bother with them. If you need to contact me, these are various ways via which you can contact me. Email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp are the best ways. WhatsApp, because I'm monitoring that all the time. That's something I'll get back to you very, very quickly. I monitor it all the time because that's how my students communicate with me. Okay. I've got a YouTube channel where there's a lot of free information. Sometimes the stuff I've got on the ACCA websites, I've got links to it on my YouTube channel. I also have a lot of podcasts. If you like to receive your information via podcasts, I'll give you a link to that. So if we have failed the exam and we're thinking what we're going to do, it's like, it's a bit of a panic, but please do something about it, because the exam in December is now just over 6 weeks away. Yep. Time to do something about it, time to pass it, but you need to take action. Okay, so just remember that. You should, after tonight's chat, be really thinking about how you're going to arrange your life. So if I was to talk to people for the first time and say, well, you're taking SBL, what would I recommend needs to be in place so you pass it? Well, I think a lot of it is in the mind. Yep. And I think you really need to want this. And if you don't really want it, you need to find a reason for wanting it. And you can look at, if you put my name into ACCA Student Accountant, you will see some articles there which talk about motivation, talk about visualization, talk about a reason why you want to do it. Yeah. My podcasts, I also, why do you want it? So have a listen to those. So you need to be personally motivated. you also need to have structure to the way you live. And to get structure to the way you live, you need to have some kind of timetable of living. So the first questions I would ask you, if you had failed, how desperate were you to pass and how organized were you? Yeah, because my students, I encourage to find those reasons. And when they find them, they have something that stops them going out with their friends, gets them out of bed early in the morning, prevents them from going on holiday because they want to pass. So did you have that would be my first question of you. So think about how organized were you? Did you have a timetable? Did you have post-it notes all over your wall? Yeah. Did you have a timetable that included going to work and doing some exercise, having fun with your friends, and a bit of study? Yeah. Only you can answer that, but self-reflect on that. When we have a timetable of regular behaviors, we get a routine. The great thing about a routine is a routine becomes a habit. We don't need any energy to do these things because we just do it when it's a habit. We don't need motivation to brush our teeth. We just do it because it has become an established routine or a habit. If we think about maybe training for a marathon, would you train every single day? I don't think you would. What we do, we train and then maybe we would, relax, let our muscles rejuvenate. Yeah, get a massage to get rid of that lactic acid in those muscles. So in a similar way, when you're preparing for studying, did you have places in your journey which allowed for relaxing and rejuvenating your brain? Yeah. Again, it's a rhetorical question which only you can answer. But did you do those things? Because if you didn't do those things, you were probably not as effective as you could have been. Where did you study? Did you study always in the same place, in a very tidy, easy to concentrate environment, or did you study wherever with the telly on in the background? Again, that would be a contributory factor for you not performing as well as maybe you could have done. Okay, so they're kind of simple things to sort out, but a good thing to reflect and think, did I really do that? Only you know the answer. But if there was an answer to those questions that you didn't, you need to take corrective action. So they're the foundation stones. What else do we need apart from being motivated and organized? Well, we need to really be looking at some approach to study which has approval by the ACCA. If it has approval by the ACCA, the examining team would have had a look over it for its relevance, for its effectiveness, and to the best possible providers, they would give a platinum status. So did you use that, or did you use some free stuff on Facebook? If you want to use free stuff, go on to my YouTube channel or go on to the ACCA Study Hub, which has lots of excellent resources. And I link some of those resources on my YouTube channel because, there's a lot on the ACCA website. But use ACCA approved materials. I often say, if you don't do that, it's a bit like learning to drive, but instead of learning to drive in a car, you learn to drive on a bicycle. It's kind of useless. It's not going to help you pass your driving test if you're learning to drive on a bicycle. And some of the stuff on Facebook and YouTube and whatever is really bad. So keep away from it. There's free ACCA resources. Use them. Yeah. I personally, when I studied, I paid and, sacrificed quite a lot to go on a good course because what I wanted was to qualify as an accountant as quickly as possible. Because when you're a qualified accountant, first of all, your life is exam free. But when you're a qualified accountant compared to a non-qualified accountant, when I qualified, within a few months, I tripled my salary. I moved from Manchester down to London, so there was a difference in salary. But literally, because I had a qualification, I tripled my salary. But I would say that's probably unrealistic for most. But you can easily double or triple your salary within 2 to 5 years. Yep. It's possible. It's very, very achievable. So, if you're going to pay a few £100s on a course and you're going to double your salary within 2 years, well, that's peanuts compared to the impact it will have on your life, not forgetting all that free time you're going to have and all that respect you're going to have. Yeah, so get the exams out of the way. That should be a motivator. What resources would I use? Well, SBL, remember, is not an exam that you learn, it's an exam that you have to apply. Sadly, if you learn, some people say, I failed 3 times, I've learned all the textbook. That's why you failed. You've got to apply the knowledge. And one way would be not to be reading a textbook, but be maybe making some summary top-level notes of the key areas of the syllabus you need to know. Look at past examination questions, maybe in an ACCA approved examination kit, but also on the study hub there's lots of questions. There's also questions which I've been involved in putting and writing answers to on the ACCA CBE practice platform. So there's lots of stuff out there that you can be using. Really important to go on the CBE platform as well. It is a bit clunky, but it is how your exam is done, and therefore you need to be experienced with that platform. It's not done on Word or Excel or any other software. It's done on the ACCA CBE platform. So make sure you get exposure to that. So again, ask yourself, did you go on there? Did you do mocks on there? Did you time yourself? Yeah. Only you know the answer to that. Do you have a set of summary notes from your exam last time? Are they using pictures? Because our brain is wired visually, not learning loads of pages of text. We can learn loads of pages of text for tax and financial accounting, but SBL is not like that. It's a completely different exam. And if you took the approach you took to preparing for tax and SBR, you're not likely to have done very well. Yeah, so food for thought. As I say, it's not a technical exam. You can't learn it. You need to understand it. Okay. And you need to apply it in the context of a case scenario. So as you know, there's a case scenario. You've got to apply it in that context. Okay. So how does strategic business leader differ from other exams? Well, I've kind of just said it. It's not a technical exam, it's an applied exam, but it's also the rationale of what it's all about. And it's about applying technical knowledge in the context of being a leader, in context of the workplace, showing your professionalism. Yeah, that's what it's about. From a specific examination technique perspective, in addition to not being motivated, not being organized, not using good resources, if you haven't done all of that, you can still fail because of poor timing, poor layout, poor mark focus, and not enough practice with feedback. That's key. That's key. Did you teach yourself to drive, or did you get a driving instructor? I mean, good luck to you if you taught yourself to drive. I would have thought it's going to take you a lot longer than a driving instructor, but that's up to you. That's up to you. If you think about that. If I passed my driving test and I was going to get a very highly paid driving job, would I teach myself to drive, or would I go and get the best driving instructor so I could get that job as quickly as possible? I know what I would do, but hey, you reflect. So time management, let's go into a bit more detail. What would we do here? Well, we need to have a budget. Yeah, we spoke before we started recording with someone who was in the audience here, who basically didn't get time to do the third question. They got 48 in the exam. I wonder whether they managed their time. Well, if they didn't do all 3 questions, they definitely didn't. Yeah. So what we have 195 minutes in total, 3 hours, 15 minutes. We probably spend, again, you will have to adjust this, and you will adjust this if you do lots of practice. Maybe we spend 30 minutes reading and planning. Maybe we do. So we spend 30 minutes reading and planning, and that leaves us with about 165 minutes left. It's a 100 mark exam. So how long are we spending? Well, with that, we're spending about 1.6 minutes a mark. Now, some people say, but the professional skills marks take no time to acquire. You're dead right. But the maths are the same. You would divide 165 by 80, and then you would multiply the actual technical marks by what comes up. So let's not get into the minutiae of maths. The point I want to get across to you is, did you have a strict time budget when doing the exam? Did you write start time and finish time for each section? Because if you didn't, you were out of control. When you're out of control, even though you're very capable, if you only answered 2 out of 3 questions and you got 48, you got 48 out of about 67. So 48 out of 67 is pretty good. It's, 70%, but you needed to get an absolute mark of 50 or more. And because you didn't manage your time, that's what went wrong. Okay. Statement, I'd say, treat it like a project management exercise in mark acquisition. That's what I want you to do. Okay. What about reading and planning? Well, we've got pre-C material. I did a very comprehensive debrief of what the pre-C was about. I didn't spot questions, but I asked you to fundamentally assess, what position in the market is Courgettes? How does it achieve competitive advantage? What threats would there be to the competitive advantage which it has? And if you fundamentally understood that and how people could undermine it, you could kind of understand any questions that came at you. Not go and learn Ryanair's accounts or EasyJet's accounts like some people told me they did. It's not really going to help you. But if you fundamentally understood their strategic position and how that could be threatened, then you were in a good place to deal with any tasks that consequently came up in the exam. So in the exam, we get pre-C material, and then after that, we get some extra material. We need to go through it, break it down, label it, highlight the keywords, try to see what is going on. What does the story tell me? I'm trying to kind of picture it. Yep. That's what I'm doing in the exam, trying to make it real. So by all means, see Courgettes in the context of Southwest Airlines or Fly Dubai or Ryanair or EasyJet, or whatever, part of the world you live in. But, use that to help build a picture. Okay. What else would I be saying on presentation? Well, as a marker, I don't really understand how some people talk to markers, in that they talk to them. Imagine if I'm presenting to you and you wouldn't understand a word I'm saying. Well, the written equivalent of that is what many students do. The marker has to be your friend. You have to love the marker. Yeah. And unfortunately, people don't treat the marker like that. Make their job easy, clear layout, subheadings. When you meet someone for the first time, do you go, or you say, hello, I'm Sean? Yeah. So the equivalent of an opening statement is not any negative marks, but psychologically, how do you come across? So think about that first line. White space. You could write an answer like that. The problem is markers are marking quite quickly. Markers want you to put it in their face. So I've done this with students. I've given them an answer like this. I've given them a marking scheme, and then I'm giving them an answer like that. And the one where it's presented with white space and subheadings, when you put people under time pressure, will always get more marks. Simple psychology. Play that card in the exam. To show you, just to demonstrate, do you think like me? I'm just going to very, very quickly, I'm not going to keep you too long, very, very quickly, I'm going to talk to you about an area of the syllabus which is technology and data analytics. Okay, so in the area of technology and data analytics, there is a syllabus. So cloud, mobile and smart, big data, machine learning, e-business, value chain, systems and control. And so I'm going to get the book out and I'm going to learn all the book. Or we could do it differently. Yeah. What would I do on cloud? How could it affect a business? How does smart technology, how does cloud technology affect a business? Well, it allows you to be global 24/7. Yeah, you don't have to be in the shop all the time. It's online. You can share information if you're on your Excel spreadsheets and you can identify mistakes. Yeah, you can communicate to everyone through WhatsApp in the field. The Ring doorbell, you can open your door if you're on holiday in the Caribbean. Yeah, Internet of Things. Your fridge knows when you need more milk because it, you barcode read it when it goes in if you have a fancy Internet of Things fridge, or if you've read about it. Do you have an Apple Watch? Do you have a fitness tracker? Do you know how many steps you do? Of course you do. So kind of what you need to understand rather than read it all in the book and learn the chapter. Automatic cars like Tesla who can drive themselves. What's the benefit of that? Everyone's scared of them. Actually, they're more safe than humans are. Humans have a 70% kind of failure rate. That yes, there are potential accidents with Teslas and stuff, but I think their success rate is 98%. Humans fall asleep, get distracted. Yeah, cars don't. So think of it in that context in real life. Okay, I think I have a little question there. Let me see. I thought one popped up. No, please ask questions as I go through it and I will deal with them at an appropriate point. Big data. So some people, big data, we need to think about volume, velocity, variety. No, you don't. You need to understand, what does volume, velocity and variety mean? So in the context of core jets, how could we use big data? Well, obviously that's a problem with big data, the volume, the velocity and the variety. But if we can overcome that, we can use it to get all kinds of information for marketing and stuff. Yeah, but we need to, sensibly check it. The veracity of it has to be authenticated. What else? Machine learning. Well, machine learning, I'm sure in many of your businesses, has replaced a lot of your transactional accounting. People don't do month end anymore. A bot does it. Yeah, I have an accountant, Xero is an accountant. Why do you need an accountant when you've got Xero? You don't. If you work in safety, mining, nuclear power, you can do, bomb disposal. It can be all done by robots. It's done 365 days a year. Think of Amazon. It's on sale all the time, and it will recognize who's coming to Amazon. It might even have different pricing. If you go on Uber, they have surge pricing. They do it with electric cars. So depending on when you charge your car, if you charge it in rush hour, you will pay more per kilowatt hour than you'll pay overnight. Yeah. So there we go. Value chain, 24/7 global. It understands what sales will be made, so you don't need any stock. It records transactions that happen, so therefore you have a database which can influence future decisions. It can gather intelligence about age, geographic location, time of day. Yeah, all of these things. And that's how you need to be taking the syllabus areas and reflecting and visualizing how it works in real life. Yeah, the 6 I's of marketing, you should hopefully know that. Security, talking about IT security. Well, I'm sure we all have a smartphone. Yeah. Do you have fingerprint, face recognition? Probably. Yeah. So there's security. Do you have two-step verification on your Google Drive? Do you, biometrics? How do you log on at work? Yeah. All of those things are natural, but in an exam, you sometimes clam up. Please don't. The exam is about work related. Okay, so my point in going through that very, very quickly was not to educate you about IT, but to show you how my brain works when talking about the IT part of the syllabus, and I do similar on other parts of the syllabus, and I have a confidence to brainstorm. To create a brainstorm helps facilitate a plan. When I've got a plan, I can do a mark focus, and then I can do a really good answer. Okay, so have confidence to brainstorm and then apply it. That is the key to doing well in SBL. And if you haven't been doing that, can you please switch your brain on to do so? Because learning stuff, one of my students didn't understand something, says, I think, can you give me the textbook so I can learn it? I purposely don't give a textbook to stop people learning. Yeah, I create mind maps and I show videos, and I don't give loads and loads of notes because I want students to summarize it their way with their pictures, with their diagrams, because that's much better for your brain. Your brain doesn't really work very well learning stuff. It's visually wired. Yeah. Okay, so as just to remind you, sorry to keep reminding you of this, the exam is 6 weeks away. Are you doing anything about it, or are you still thinking of doing something about it? Okay. So, okay, no problem. What then is your job? Well, your job is to take on board what I've said, think about your motivation, think about your organization, think about what you're using to study with. Yeah. If you're thinking of doing a course, ask yourself, does a course do this? This is what my course does. People on my course are very successful because I make them get their mindset right, but maybe benchmark whatever course you're thinking of doing. I use official materials of the ACCA. This is on revision, so I'm assuming you've got the knowledge. Yeah, so we'll be using ACCA past questions. I create over 40 videos. I might be summarized. You need to know this about the topic, but here's a question. This is how I take it apart. Yeah. You get WhatsApp support. If you don't understand something, WhatsApp me. I'll get straight back to you. Yeah. What else would I think would be useful? I use my opinion because I've done it a very long time, and I work with the examining team, and all of that. But I also will quote the examining team on what they say. So I will use examiner insights. I will get homework marked by real ACCA markers. And it's not just you got 10, lots of comments, what you did well, what you didn't do well. So you need to get feedback. So are you getting feedback on what you did? Do you understand why you didn't pass the exam? Or you just think why you didn't pass? Yeah. What else? You would do mock exams on the CBE platform 2 times. So if you don't want to go on a course, you should be doing that. But I will then get ACCA markers, not just to mark it, but give comprehensive feedback on what you do well, on what you need to improve on. And students who do a full platinum course with me, some of them were getting 25 in their first mock, and they might just be getting 50 in the final mock that they did. They did 3 mocks. In the exam, they were getting 65, 74, 80, all kinds of. So it's a journey. Yeah, you're not going to be brilliant on the first go, but you're not going to be able to do it unless you go through some pain. Yeah, with challenging yourself, you achieve change. If you don't challenge yourself, you won't change. The pre-C mock, I don't go to bed for 3 days. I take the pre-C material. I spend 3 days writing an exam based on recent examiner comments, and other stuff I do with the ACCA. I then get that marked by ACCA actual markers with lots of feedback. So it's a really good way of forcing you to think about the pre-C material, going through a hypothetical exam, that's a really great way to prepare. So my hope for you is you do at least 1 mock to time and you get it marked. Yep. You need to get organized, you need to get your brain in the right place, and you need to make sure the resources you're using are the correct ones. You need to manage your time. You need to focus on the marks. And if you get all that right, you're going to be fine. But you need to practice. You need to practice, just like practicing learning to drive. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to deal with them. Some of you are at work and you can't talk. It must be a very quiet workplace. Again, manage your boss. Tell him you're doing exams. I'm going to work for you really hard, but I'm going to start at 9. Can I get in at 6:30 and work 6:30 to 9 and not be disturbed so I can pass my exams? I'm on a webinar for half an hour. Can I just talk to this tutor and ask him some questions? If I was your boss, I'd let you do that. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we will round it up. I will put a recording of this so you can see it again on my YouTube channel. I'll give you a link to it through the way in which you signed up. Okay. If we are happy, I hope that's been some use. I hope it's inspired you to do something different to what you did last time, because if you fail last time, if you don't do something different, the outcome is likely to be the same, I'm sorry to say. So if you want to have a change, to your outlook on your your outcomes, you need to do some kind of change in your approach. Okay, so need to contact me, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, look at stuff on YouTube and podcasts. If you like to receive your information from podcasts, I've recorded quite a few about SBL, about exam technique, and yeah, they are useful, I believe, according to students. So best of luck. You failed. Hey, you failed. It's great to fail. That's how we learn. Yeah, dust yourself down. Think about what I've said. Get this exam out of the way in December and make sure you do something different so you can get a change in your result. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best.
I see. Hello.
I'm just about to shut it down. Hello, yep.
I sent a message through the chat, but you've not responded to it. I was just asking, how do I sign up?
Oh, okay. I can send you can have a look on send me a WhatsApp and I'll send you a link.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Bye now.
No problem.
Mhm.